Welcome back to Red Hawk Media. Today we're taking a look at part 7 of our multi-part series for our 2D platform game. Today we're taking a look at how to create a door to another stage or another level, and then we're going to take a look at flipping switches to activate different movie actions. Let's get started. Okay, to begin with, the first step would be to just draw a door. Easiest way to go about this is just get a rectangle tool and go ahead and draw that up. I'm going to go ahead and grab one that I've already drawn from my previous layers here, and we're just going to select this really quick and copy it and bring it over. Now before I paste it, I'm going to create my own little layer here for the door, and actually I'm going to paste it right on the ground layer here. And do I want to do that? Nope, I want my own layer for the door. Okay, and new layer, and double click on layer 1, and let's type in door. There we go. On the first frame of that, we're going to go ahead and hit Command V, and we've got our door. Alright, now my door is already been created into a symbol, so after you draw your rectangle and everything, you'd want to select it all. You convert it into a symbol, and of course you would, let's go ahead and just break this part, and let's go through those steps. So highlight it all, convert to symbol. It's going to be a movie clip, and we can just call it door. Unless you have multiple doors or different kinds of doors, you can label them accordingly. The symbol name is irrelevant here. Registration point is middle, and then we click OK. Alright, like it says here, the door is already taken. Alright, so I cancel out of that, and I'm just going to go ahead and delete this off of here, and I'm going to drag in my original again. So let's drag that in. There we go. And we're back to where we were. It's converted to a symbol. It's labeled door. And now what I want to do is go ahead and paste some actions onto it. So I right click onto it. I go to actions. These actions will be in the description here. You're going to see me paste them from the previous game that I've got set up here. Command C that. And again, these are in the description. Come back over and Command V. And now, the part that we need to know or understand about the code here is that when I touch this door, it's going to go to and play stage 2. So whatever level I'm designing the door for, this is how I go ahead and set it up. So if I've got a stage 3, I'd change it accordingly, but I've got a stage 2. Now, this name, when I create my scene, has to be exactly the same as my scene name. So what I mean by that is this. On my scene, which I'm going to create now, you can see that I've got a stage 1 and I've got a game over. We're going to go ahead and add on a scene 2 or a stage 2. So I go up to Window, and I go to Other Panels, and then to Scene. And in here, I go ahead and create the New or Add Scene button. And on scene 4, I'm just going to go ahead and type stage 2. This is where I have to type it exactly the same as what the code says. So lowercase and no spaces, and then I hit enter. Now these you should arrange in the order that they're going to play. That's just going to help you organize everything thus far. You may have a start game or a menu screen that's showing up before stage 1, but keep them in order properly. Now in stage 2, what I can do to go about this is I can start copying over the different layers that I've got. So I can very quickly make my base 3 layers. Go with character, go with ground, and then of course eventually we're going to add in VCam. But there are some issues to the VCam which I will explain in a later tutorial here. So we're just kind of setting the groundwork for right now. I'd go to the character layer, go back over to my original game here, so I just switch back to stage 1 now. Click on my character, let's copy him, and go back over to stage 2 now. Stage 2, and I go ahead and paste him onto that layer. So now I got a character in here, and he's got all of his actions on him and everything, so he's all set up the way that he needs to be. Now I go back again, stage 1, and I'm going to grab the ground, copy that, and then let's go back over to stage 2 and paste that onto the ground layer. Be very careful of where you're pasting these things to. Okay, so now I've got my ground layer here. I can go ahead and set that up accordingly. Maybe I want a little bit different starting place this time around. Okay, so now for testing purposes, I'm going to go ahead and switch back to stage 1 here, although I don't have to. I'm going to hit Command Enter, and it says a lock drive. Be sure that lock drive. Also check the file. Oh, this can happen if your name of your game gets to be too long. So it's actually probably a good thing that you've seen this here. So I'm going to just do a quick save as, and I'm just going to get rid of the whole game over part here. Okay, and we're going to just call it that, which should be acceptable. Now we go ahead and export it. So be careful about your naming conventions on Flash. Now I'm in my layer here. Let's go ahead and get to our door. I'm going to just, oh, maybe I'm not going to. I'm going to fly through this, and when I touch the door, nothing happens. That's lovely. Alright, let's see what's going on here. So I go back to stage 1. It's going to stage 2. Oh yes, the other thing that I need to create, almost forgot about this, is on stage 2, just like we did for the game over thing, we need to create a label. Alright, so I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to call it label. Almost totally forgot about this. Hit enter. On that first frame, I got to click on that first frame, and then over in the properties here, I can label the stage. So I can call this stage 2. Okay? Before it was looking for stage 2, it had no idea of where to go because I didn't have this label on here. So let's go ahead now that we've got that and test it out a second time here. And drop on down and get on over here, and boom. Oh, now one other thing that's going on here on stage 1, I'm getting to stage 2 for a brief second. It's like hiccuping over there. You can see it just quickly pop over. Now I need to add on an actions layer. That's going to tell it to stop on stage 2. So I go ahead and create an actions layer on stage 2. Click on the first frame. Let's add some actions to it. Okay, and I'm just going to type stop and open and close parentheses and semicolon. And we'll try that. Let's try this one more time here. All the little steps that we forget. Boom. And now it stops on stage 2 properly. And I don't have anything to really kill me on here. I don't even have a restart box. And I don't have the VCam working presently either. So those are things, of course, that I would add on to stage 2. But everything else will behave exactly the same. The ground and the character will do exactly what they're supposed to. So I got to add those things in. That would be the next step. Moving on. The other part of our tutorial is, aside from creating a door, we are going to create a switch. The switch will work something like this. I'm just going to move my character over so you can see this happen quickly. And I'm going to go ahead and hit Command Enter. And we start our game. And he's right over here. And here's my first switch that I encounter. When I hit the space bar anywhere near it, it's going to activate the animation of that door. Okay? So it triggers a movie action, and that's what it's all about here. So let's go ahead and go about doing that. I'm going to close this out. Okay, and the next step then, I got to create a switch. You can draw your switch however you want. It really doesn't matter. I'm just going to copy this one for now, go back to our other game, and we're going to put a switch just on this level here so we can see it happen quickly. I'm going to create a new layer. In the other tutorials that I've seen, they call it a joystick here. I don't think that has any relevance whatsoever on the layer, so I'm just going to call it switch. Okay, and on the switch layer, I'm going to go ahead and paste that over, Command V. Obviously, I got to free transform it here to make it work. So we're going to rotate that around. Right about there. Maybe a little bit more. Yep, getting finicky. And let's go ahead and bring that down. Now, once I've got that settled onto my platform here, let's move it over. I have to paste some actions on it. Okay, there are two things in the switch. So I've drawn the switch. I would have drawn it Same process to kind of show you, just like the door. I drew it, and I drew it in two separate parts here. I made the actual switch itself that you're going to flip over separately, and then I made this piece separately. After I was done making this, what I did is I just highlighted all of it, and I went up to modify, and I grouped them together. That makes them a little bit easier to move because, of course, if I don't group them, once I put them on top of the other piece over here, what's going to end up happening is they're going to kind of blend together into one big layer. Okay? After I get the group and the other piece of the switch put together, I'm just going to highlight all of this here, and I'm going to convert it into a symbol, and it's going to be a movie clip. And here I can call it switch or whatever I want. Okay, and registration is in the middle, and I click OK. Alright, and now on my switch I'm going to add in some basic animation to it. So I'm going to double click on the switch to go into this movie's timeline. So now up in the corner it should say your stage, and it should say switch. In here I'm going to create two layers. Okay, on the first layer I'm going to create the animation for what's going on here. Okay, this is the first animation position for my switch, actually way back here. Okay, and I'm just going to create a second keyframe now, so insert blank keyframe, and I'm going to change up what's happening there. Okay, actually what I can do is I can just duplicate that over. So let's go ahead and remove that frame here, go to here, and then go to let's just insert a regular keyframe. There we go. And now on this keyframe, the second frame, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that group and I'm going to modify it so that I can actually interact with that. So just the group, grabbing that, and then I'm going to take it and I'm going to go up to modify, transform, and I'm going to flip it horizontally so it's facing the other way. And then I'm going to drop that back down there, roughly the same spot. And if you want, you can put on your onion skin here to kind of line it up exactly to where everything is. And that way I can go back and forth between the two frames and see where it's at. Okay, so here is the first one and the second position here. Okay, and my switch is moved, so let's go ahead and move that over to where it was, which means that I'm going to have to move this over so that it's the exact opposite. There we go. Alright, so I've got these two frames of animation. Turn off my onion skin so you can see what's going on. And that's what's happened. The switch is just flipping back and forth there. Alright, now I'm going to add on two frames at the top here. On the first frame, I'm going to go ahead and go to Actions. Because this movie will play automatically if I don't do this. I'm going to tell it to stop on frame 1. Okay, and then when it plays frame 2, when it's activated, I want it to actually stop there too. Let's go ahead and create a keyframe really quick here. Insert blank keyframe, and we're going to add our actions to it. We've got that up. There we go. And stop. Open and close, and semicolon. Now let's try the semicolon here. There we go. Alright, so now I've got my animation, I've got the two stop points. We are ready to paste the code onto the switch actually. Okay, so now I'm go back to the stage layer here. I'm going to right click on the switch, add on my actions. Okay, now the actions I've got in the description here for it. I'm just going to steal them from here really quickly and highlight this because my switch is already selected. Again, these are in the description. And let's close out of that, go back over here, click on this, go to Actions. Alright, and paste. There we have it. Now here's what's going on. It's saying that when my root or my character actually hits this item, what it's going to do is it's going to play this current frame. Okay, so it's going to activate it. If it's on frame 1, it's going to go to frame 2. Okay, and the space bar is what's going to activate the switch. It's going to go to and stop on frame 2, which means that it's going to animate it and flip it over. And then what's going to happen is it's going to go to the second frame of the movie that's called block 2. Now I'm going to switch this up really quick. Instead of block 2, I'm just going to put block in there. I have a couple different barriers that are on my screen that are activated by switches, you would have to label them with different instance names to get this to work. So I've got just block here. Alright, our switch is all set. Everything's ready to roll there. Let's go ahead and create our block. Again, I'm going to grab this from the other game here really quick and make sure that I get the right one. So I've got the blocks actually on the ground layer. So again, I got to double click to go into the ground timeline. So double click on it. So it says stage and then it says my ground layer. And now I can tell by my instance name over here that this is the original block that I first created, whereas this one is block 2. So if you want to add more than one switch and more than one thing that's going to be animated, this is how you would do it. You would change the instance name, and then you would go into the switch code and change the name there. Okay, so that they match up and coincide with each other. Okay, I'm going to grab this one since it's just plain old block. And again, you can just draw this with the rectangle tool, and then I also used a rectangle tool with some rounded edges here. And let's go back over to the other game. I'm going to click on the ground layer. I'm going to double click in there. Okay, and in this ground layer, I'm going to go ahead and add on my block here. So let's go ahead and paste this in here. Okay, so we've got this. And we can put that down here. Let's say it's just blocking this area up down here so I can't get through. Okay, and when I'm done creating this as a rectangle and another rectangle inside it with good stroke weight and everything, what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert it to a symbol. So I'll show you that process right now. I'm going to break it apart, and then I'm going to go back and turn it right back into a symbol. Okay, and we're going to call it block, or we can just call it barrier, whatever you want. Registration point is in the middle. It's a movie clip, and then we click OK. Once it is this thing, I have to give it an instance name. So I go in here and I type block, okay, so that matches up exactly. And then I have to animate this. Okay, so I'm going to double click actually on this, and that's going to take me into the timeline of my barrier or my block or my door or whatever I want to call it. I wouldn't call it door because we already used that. But now I'm going to go ahead and animate this. I'm going to have 2 layers. Okay, on the bottom layer is the one that I'm going to animate it on. And you can do a basic shape tween here. So on the first one we've got a keyframe, and then let's say 30 frames out I add in another keyframe. Okay, on this frame in particular I'm going to very quickly free transform this. So let's go ahead and free transform, and we drag that up so that the character can get through there like so. And now I'm going to just create my tween. We can call it a classic tween. Okay, and we can see the actual animation here. And actually we don't need to, maybe a classic tween is not the best one here. Remove the tween and let's call it a, could do just a shape tween here if it's all broken apart. Let's go ahead and break it apart. Okay, so now that it's broken apart here, I've got this one, and then I've got this one. I should make sure this is broken apart too, so that it works. Okay, and now with that, I can go ahead and go back in here and go shape tween. Alright, and it'll make it look like the door is just shrinking right up there. Perfect. Okay, now up above, I've got to do some work to actually make this movie play. Remember that it's going to jump to the second frame of the movie clip to actually play it. On the first one, on the layer above, so let's go ahead and do some labeling here. Let's call this our barrier. Okay, and then up here, we'll say that this is our actions for now. And the first action is when we get to this this movie clip, we want it to stop. We don't want it to start animating right away, otherwise it'll play and we'll never actually see it happen here. So we go to stop. Okay, and then we're going to go to the other end of the spectrum. We're going to add in a blank keyframe there, and then we're going to go ahead and go to our actions, and then we're going to go stop there as well. Okay, so I've got a starting and a stopping point, a stopping and a stopping point. Okay, and then right next door to each of these, I'm going to go ahead and just insert a keyframe. And this is what it's going to reference when I actually go in to do all the animation. So with the code is going to tell it to go to this. Let's actually remove that frame out of there. I think it was all good before. Remove frame. And drag that one back out to where it needs to be. There we go. So I've got this layer up here. Here's my animation. And if all is said and done, we should be good. I go out of the barrier timeline to the ground. Okay, go back to stage 2. I do make sure that one of the things I should make sure of is in the ground layer here. I should make sure that my instance is labeled block, just like the code, and I think we should be all set. Of course, I did say that before, and it didn't work so well. I'm just going to test this stage, so I can go up to Control and just test the scene. Okay, and that brings this all up. And now that is a dilemma. I can't jump up to my platform, so let's quickly change that. Go into my ground layer here, double-click on whatever it is that I'm going to change. And let's move that down so it's a jump that I can actually make here. Okay, go back to the stage, click on my switch, and let's bring that down to where we can manage it. Alright, now we're ready to roll here. Gravity. Let's try that again. I'm just going to test the scene. So Control and test scene. There we go. Alright, now once I get to the switch, the spacebar should activate it, and it activates my door. Okay, so now I'm ready to move on here. Okay, now that should give you plenty to work with the door to another stage, a switch that activates a movie clip that is animated. That'll give you a lot of options to customize your level or levels. Good luck with that, and there will be another episode that'll be following this one up, where I will talk about how to actually use sprites to animate your character. So like in this particular game, my character, when I play this, when he moves, he's all animated, and he's got the running positions, the stopping. He can go down like this, and he can jump. So that'll be in the next tutorial. Stay posted for that. That will be part 8 of our multi-part series here. And thanks for joining us for another episode of Red Hawk Media. Bye.